Welcome back, guys. Today, we're going to be talking about the hardest aspect of trading, FOMO. If you guys don't know what FOMO is, it is the fear of missing out. That's the dictionary definition. And this is going to be the main reason why most people fail at trading. Now, whether you currently trade or you're looking to get into trading, if you currently trade, you will very quickly realize how real that fear of missing out is. That feeling when you see your trade run and you don't take an entry, maybe you weren't paying attention. That feeling you feel when you see someone else make money on the same day that you lost money. That feeling when you go on YouTube, you see some crazy P&L and you yourself that day, you didn't make any money or you lost money or whatever. The point is, you have that fear of like you're missing out. You feel like you're missing out on a result that you want to have. And that fear right there is the hardest part about trading, and it is honestly why most people stay unprofitable. If we break down trading, and I look at trading now as an art form, I study, in a way, why do people fail and why do people win, right? If you guys have watched my channel, you guys see there's plenty of people I'll post, little case studies that do win. But just like there is plenty of those, there's plenty of people that never do see the light at the end of the tunnel. And I always sit back and I always reflect and I always think, why is this the case? And that is what I always compare. What do people do correctly and what do people do incorrectly? The first stem that people go wrong in trading is they think about others. The first thing and the worst thing that you can do for your fear of missing out is worrying about other traders. One thing, if you haven't realized it already, trading is a personal game. It is a game against you, against yourself. You are taking the trades, you are placing them, no one else is taking them for you. Unless you're taking signals, which I never recommend because you will never be profitable in the long term on your own taking signals. So, getting that out of the way. Unless you're doing that, every single trade you take is going to be your own thinking, your own logic, and your own strategy. Even if you're following someone else's maybe strategy you saw, you are still taking the trades. They're not taking the trades for you. Their strategy is not taking the trades for you. You are taking the trades. So the first thing and the worst thing that you can do for your trading success is now look at other people's trades, right? Why are you looking at other people's trades? Why do you care about if someone else made money? Why do you care? If you ultimately know your ultimate goal is for you to succeed in this industry, your ultimate goal is for you to make money, where in that does it matter what other people are taking? This is what I constantly will see with unprofitable traders. I will constantly see them worrying more about other people's trades than their own. I know so many people that know more about what trades their favorite influencer took rather than what trades they themselves are taking. And that's never the goal, right? Even though I do post videos, trade recap, my goal is to inform. My goal is to simply inform you guys and try to help. Never in those do I say, hey, you have to have the same thinking as me. You have to have the same logic as me. As a matter of fact, I do preface in every single video, there is no right way to trade. There is no correct way. I'm just trying to show unbiased information. And moving forward, this is where people get stuck. Another aspect of FOMO is people trying to get a result fast on. What do you guys heard, right? If you guys look at other, business models or those, YouTube trends, the videos you guys will see is you missed out on this year, don't miss out on this, right? It'll be someone talking about it's like, back in the day, like 2016, drop shipping was the move, but now you missed out on it. Now you have to go to this. If you guys haven't realized by now, all this is doing is giving you that fear of missing out and giving you that shiny object syndrome, going into something else, thinking that there's a different process for it. In reality, no matter what skill you do, and now we're even going past trading, and we're going to go back to trading. It doesn't matter what skill you do. There is no easy way out. There is no way to escape that grind. There is no way to progress faster than you can as a human. And for trading, your progression is simple. You are going to be taking trades. Every single trade is either going to follow your system, You're going to follow the set rules that you have set for yourself. And by the way, these are not strategy rules that you can go on YouTube and search up, day trading strategy. Because that strategy, what is it going to be? It's a set of mechanical rules. And if you follow a set of mechanical rules, you never will actually learn how to trade. It's like copying the homework from someone else. Yes, you might get the right answer sometimes, but when it's time to take that test on your own, you won't know how to do it. You copied all the homework. Yeah, the answers were right, but you didn't learn the skill. You didn't learn anything yourself because you didn't think through, why am I taking these trades? Why do I have this fear of missing out when I see a trade that, maybe a setup that played out that isn't something I could take? Why do I feel this fear when I know it is not something that is in my capabilities? And that ultimately goes into the second aspect, which is your feeling towards trading. A big issue a lot of people have, especially when you're longer term into trading, maybe you're a year in, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years in, and maybe you're still unprofitable. People feel like they deserve something. People feel like they deserve a result because they've put in time. But in reality, if you did deserve something, wouldn't you have it? Isn't that definition of deserving? There was a good case of this a couple days ago. I went out to eat with, one of my students who actually got a $7,000 payout. I think it was 3 months ago. And since then, he told me, hey, I've really been struggling. I've been blowing accounts the last 2 months. So I was like, okay, we're going to do a little data analysis because, I didn't blow those accounts for you. You blew them. And I was like, I'm going to get to the bottom of this. I actually wonder why, what happened. So, we go out, we hit a little gym session, and we go to get food after. And I'm asking him, it's like, okay, so what did you do in, September, the month where you made that money? And he's like, well, I took 5 trades that I was confident in. I won all 5, and, I made my money. And I was like, okay, what did you do the month following? And he's like, well, I scaled up to multiple accounts, right now multiple. He went from 5 to 8. And he's like, I started taking trades every single day. And I was actually 2 trades away from getting an $8,000 payout. And my copy trader messed up, which again, I'm going to take his word for it, but, could have been lying to me. But that's what he said. And then he followed it and said, now I felt like I deserved that payout. And because I felt like I deserved that payout, I in turn got emotional and I blew my accounts. And, from there, he said he was, kind of following the same loop, not keeping track of his data, not keeping track of his trades, staying in the same loop. And it ultimately stemmed from what idea? The feeling that you deserve something, the feeling that you deserve a result faster than you actually get the result. This isn't just trading, guys. This is anything in life. If you guys look at, anyone that built a successful company, if you look at, Jeff Bezos, I don't know exactly how long, but I know he was, working in that closet of his for, I think, like 10 years, making no money. You think he felt like he deserved it? I bet you he did, but he didn't complain. He didn't try to speed up the process. He was doing all that he could, which is what? Working towards his company, working towards building that company every single day. And now, flash forward, I don't know the exact statistic, but I think he's probably like, 4th richest person in the world, something like that. Trading is no different. If you're following your system, if you're following your plan, it doesn't matter if you miss a setup, if a setup you can't have taken. You already missed it. Nothing matters. You can't go back in time, right? You might get in your head and feel like, okay, I should have taken this setup. I deserve this win. This is a win I should have taken. Is that going to do anything for you in the future? No, it's not. What it might have you do is now go FOMO and overtrade and blow your account. That's what the result might yield. And, it's funny because the issue is ultimately comes down to accountability as well. That's why you'll see people that are 3, 4, 5, 6 years into trading and are making no money, right? Are still unprofitable. And the reason for that is the lack of accountability. If you're making mistakes for 4 years straight and you're not trying to figure out, you're not reflecting back on the mistakes you're making, because it's not anyone else's fault. It is your own. You're the one trading. You're the one making those mistakes. What does that mean? Everything is your fault. All of that is your fault. you have to sit back and reflect on, I mean, why am I making these mistakes? Same thing when, you see a setup, you don't take it, it plays out, and now you FOMO into your trade. Now you rush into your trade. No one else did it for you. You can blame it and say the market didn't give me an entry, blah, blah, blah. Okay, that's what the market did. Do you think the market cares about your emotions you're feeling? It doesn't care. It doesn't care. It's a market. It's just data. You either, the data is not going to lie to you, right? Market's just not going to magically run without an entry. An entry is something you perceived as a correct entry, right? And then maybe something you took after is that rushed entry. So in turn, it's like, hey, it was your choice to not find this as an entry, and it was your own choice to take the second trade as an entry, which now maybe you chased into price, you FOMO'd in, and you lost, right? And it's like, the beauty of it, and this is why I really do like trading, I do like the skill itself, because you are the one that's accountable. There is no external factor that's going to have you lose your trade, but yet, this is what most people feel when they trade, that it is some external factor. Oh, I got wicked out. The market was, hunting my stop loss. I got unlucky. Lucky? Is there any luck in trading? To me, it's a skill, right? You can look at both options. You got stopped out, you got wicked out, or maybe, let's say, price ran without an entry in your eyes. You can do two things in that moment. You can sit there and you can be like, I should have made this money, I should have caught this trade. And then you do what? You take the second execution, you FOMO in. You have that fear of missing out. Maybe you saw a video on Instagram too of someone else making money, and now it's an external factor as well. Now you're thinking about other people. You shouldn't be thinking about other people, but maybe now you are. And now you FOMO into that second trade, and now you lose. And maybe now you even cope with that loss. Well, it's like, I shouldn't have even taken that loss because I should have caught the first trade. Well, instead of that, why don't you just sit out the second trade and just walk away from your setup for a second, come back and think, okay, whether I like it or not, whether I thought I was going to get an entry here, the market did move. It did go to it did do it. You can't lie to yourself. You're looking at the lines. The lines are telling you, the same thing you realize. Maybe you should spend some time reflecting on, okay, I did see it going here, but I didn't take an entry. Maybe that was my flaw. Maybe I should look back and reflect on how am I going to get an entry next time? Maybe I should take some accountability. And that's the main thing I've seen too. Whenever I see someone try to rush the process, whenever I see someone try to rush a certain P&L, they're in their head. They have to reach this by then. They have to reach this by then. They're always going to rush, and they're always going to rush. And the market is going to humble you. Whenever you think you deserve something, whenever you think you deserve a result, you have to get this P&L by this day, you're not going to get it. You're not going to get it. Because ultimately, trading is a game of patience, right? It doesn't matter how you trade. There's going to be periods where you are not trading. There's going to be periods where you might miss a setup, right? Maybe you're taking a break and you miss some setups. It's like, okay, there's still going to be more. The goal about trading, and the thing that a lot of people don't realize, you want to be here for the long run. If you either capitalize off of trading really quickly and emotionally, and just like as fast as you capitalize off of it, you get that money taken out. You guys see it in crypto all the time. People get, in a sense, not even lucky, but they'll make money with maybe one coin. They'll get an ego. They think they're, better than the market, and they'll lose it all. It happens very, very often. I'm sure plenty of you guys watching this went through the same thing. And it's like, trading is no different. If you get money easily, if you make money that was undeserved, and now you get in your head, you think you're better, it's going to be taken away very quickly. The actual goal of trading is once you learn the skill, you want to stay in this industry for as long as you can. You want to capitalize from it as long as you can. The point is, the time's going to pass anyways. At least I know personally, this last year, these last 11 months have passed by in a second. The time passes, and I'm sure a lot of you guys too, maybe you've been watching me for a minute, maybe this is the first video, but you've noticed that time in your life passes very quickly. And if you already know the time is going to pass, then why would you do something that is going to set yourself back? I mean, genuinely, why would you? And this is what a lot of people have seen themselves is whenever they do try to force something, whenever they do try to rush something, it's not going to come any faster. If anything, it takes longer. And ultimately, the thing about trading is what is true, everyone is going to have their own journey. The market isn't going anywhere. These prop firm accounts, they're not going anywhere. They're not going to magically disappear. This is just an internal cope you have to try to rush the process. In reality, these things have been here for tens of years. They're going to continue to be here. And if anything changes, it is out of your control. What you can control is what you do every single day. When you do show up, if you do hold yourself accountable, if you do step away when you shouldn't be trading, if you do keep track of your trades, if you journal those things, those are factors in your control. There's plenty of other factors that are not in your control, but in reality, it's like, okay, why would you worry about the factors that are not in your control? I always see people worrying about things that, like, what if this happens? What if this happens? What if this happens? Well, it's like, bro, instead of worrying about all these what ifs, worry about, like, why am I taking this trade? Why did I FOMO into this trade? The issue is, like, again, hardest part about trading is having that accountability with yourself. And whenever you make a mistake, the easiest thing to do is try to, escape from the mistake. Look somewhere elsewhere to try to cope with the reason that you made that mistake. Maybe you FOMO into a trade, you take a trade that you shouldn't have taken, and now you're looking at trying to find someone else that took the same trade as you. Like, this guy took the same trade as me, it's fine. You made the mistake. You have to own up to the mistake. And the issue is there's so many people that think that just because they put in effort, that they, are going to magically get this result. It's the same analogy of, imagine a really fat person, right? You're sitting here at home on your couch eating a hamburger and you're watching videos of, bodybuilders. And you're sitting there on your couch and you're like, that's going to be me one day. When I pull up that analogy, like, you guys probably laugh, or it's like, okay, this is so stupid. It's like, obviously, you're not going to get there. Same way for trading. Do you know how many people don't even know why they took their last 10 trades? They don't even know why they're trading. But what they do know is, why other people are trading. Why maybe I'm trading. Maybe you know that. I always get, I'll get messages. Hey, why did you take this trade? Okay. That's cool. I'll explain it to you. But why did you, why are you not worrying about what you took, right? And it's like, I'm not saying this from any ego perspective, but the issue is a lot of people will continue to run from their problems. They'll continue running from the fact that they are doing this to themselves, that they are FOMOing into trades, that they are trying to speed up the process, that they are trying to, skip through like there's some cheat code, like there's some secret. It's another thing people do, right? Try to look for answers everywhere besides where they are. At the end of the day, right, you guys can listen to this rant, you guys can choose to ignore it, but what I will promise you is the market's going to confirm, right, these same ideas. Whenever you try to rush something, you are quickly going to realize why you can't. Whenever you try to, think you're above the market, you're going to quickly realize why you're not. And you're going to quickly come back to the point, and the one thing that I've realized, every single person that I've seen have success has one thing: patience, and they submit themselves to the process. They don't expect anything. They don't, get mad at themselves because they're, okay, they will get mad at themselves because they're not at a certain point, but they don't in turn rush it because they understand, hey, I'm doing everything I can every single day. I'm truly doing everything I can every single day to get a little bit better, to get a bit closer to my goals. And that's all you can do as a trader. You're either on a journey where you are improving as much as you can every single day, and whatever goal you have, whatever result you want to achieve, it's going to come as fast as the energy you put out into the world comes back to you. And if you haven't gotten that result yet, you just haven't put enough time, enough consistency, enough hours to yield that result. Because the people that do have that result, they did do that. They always did do that. And that's the one thing you guys will notice. Like, it's not just trading. You guys realize it's anything else in life. Someone that has something, they don't just have it randomly. right? Yes, you can think that. That's what most people think. It's like, oh, this guy got lucky, blah, blah, blah. It's like, that's why most people, don't change, because it's very easy to say that as like, a little cope and then go about your day. But in reality, deep down inside, you know that you're lying to yourself. Same thing about trading. A lot of you guys will realize you are lying to yourself. And it's like, if you are lying to yourself over and over and over again, if you can't even be honest with yourself as a person when no one else is watching, like, it is really you. If you're sitting there in your journal, you're lying about your execution, you took a loss, you don't want to hold yourself for your loss. I mean, who are you really lying to? Not like, who are you really lying to? You're lying to yourself, man. You're lying to yourself. Maybe maybe you FOMO'd into a trade and then you're, in your journal, you're trying to cope with it. It's like, oh, it's fine because of. I mean, who are you lying to, man? Like, you don't have to lie to anyone, man. You're just lying to your future. You're lying to your, success. Like, you're doing it to yourself. And ultimately, it's like, bro, if you're at least somewhat dedicated to improving, like, the worst thing you can do is lie to yourself. I know this rant was kind of all over the place. I know I did kind of yap, but the point is, this journey, it's a slow journey. It's a hard journey. It's one of the hardest journeys. But the three things that always will prevail is being honest with yourself, is having accountability, and is submitting yourself to the process, letting the time pass. Because whether you follow your shit or whether you don't, the time is going to pass. The years are going to pass. And as you get older, they're only going to pass faster. So you either, sit here and ask yourself, what would I do if a year from now I'm in the exact same spot or a worse spot? And, asking this, that is a hard feeling to accept. If you really truly think about it, that is difficult. That hurts. For you to accept that a year could pass and you're in the exact same spot. And for a lot of you watching this, I'm sure a year has passed and you are in the same exact spot. You can't get that year back. You're never going to get that year back. But you know what you can get back? The next year. You can go another year not changing anything, but then you can't expect things to change. So it's like, if you understand these things, you might as well give it a try. You might as well see what you can do for yourself if you do improve a little bit every day. If you do get a little bit better every single day. If you do start being honest with yourself. It's the least you at least owe it to yourself, man. You owe it to yourself. You owe it to your family. You owe it to your friends to at least be honest with yourself for a year. That's all I'm asking. A year, 365 days, it's 1% out of your life, 2% out of your life. Be honest with yourself. Be honest with yourself. Don't make excuses. Don't run for answers besides where they are. Stop, okay? I'm just asking you, be honest with yourself for a year. And, for those who do, maybe you can come back to this video in a year and update me. But hope you guys enjoyed this little talk. I'll catch you guys in the next video.